Alright, what's up you guys? Today I'm going to be doing something I'm calling the Rumor Roundup. If you don't know already, this last week has been probably the most exciting week in digital photography since I can even remember. There have been so many different little rumors and camera announcements over the last few days, and it's going to really impact everybody. Whether you're Nikon, Canon, Panasonic, Sony, whatever, these new cameras that are going to be announced and also launched in the next few months are going to completely change the game. So we already have the Nikon Z6 and Z7. Those have already been officially announced. They actually had them at the camera shop down the street from me the other day with the Nikon reps. So that's not going to be in the rumor roundup because this is no longer a rumor. It's actually out there. But the first one that I do want to talk about is Canon's brand new full-frame mirrorless camera that they're introducing to go head-to-head with Sony and Nikon. Now this camera is called the EOS-R, and it's a full-frame 30 megapixel camera, and I would guess that this is going to be really popular with the vlogging and also just videographer crowd in general. I wouldn't say like the professional kind of group of people would be using this camera, and I'll tell you why real quick. So a little bit of a roundup of the details about this camera. It's a 30 megapixel, and the one stat that really stuck out to me is the autofocus points. Now this uses Canon's dual pixel autofocus that they've been perfecting and using for quite a while with cameras like the 80D. Now this will have the dual pixel autofocus, and this almost looks like an error on the little leaked stat chart that I have here, but there are 5,655 autofocus points, and I'm gonna link the leaked chart for all of the stats on this camera. I'll link it down in the description because I found this on SonyAlphaRumors.com, and it's an actual document from Canon that shows every single piece of information you need to know about this camera. So there's a ton of stuff here, and I'm only going to be going over a few of the little points. So in terms of size and weight, it's a little bit bigger than the Sony a7 III in terms of width, height, and depth. It's a little bit bigger, but about the same weight overall. But one of the cool things about this camera is it's a brand new lens mount, and they're introducing 4 new lenses with this camera. So they have the 28-70 f2. Now that is a pretty incredible lens because there's not a lot of wide-angle zooms that are f2. So it's a 28-70 f2. It's quite a hefty lens. It's about 2 times as much as a Canon 24-70 millimeter lens, which is already kind of a hefty lens. So it's double the weight of that, and I wouldn't be surprised if I saw double the price of it too, because an f2 lens that's several pounds is going to be pretty pricey. Now they're also launching a 50mm f1.2, which again I imagine will be a pretty pricey lens because it's just 1.2. And this lens is also about twice as heavy as the old 50mm f1.2 lens that everybody knows and loves. So once again, very heavy lens. I imagine it'll be a little bit pricey. And then one of the other lenses they're launching with it is a 35mm 1.8 macro stabilized lens. So that's kind of a lot to bring all together there, but 35mm, it's stabilized. It's also a macro lens. And an f1.8, and this one looks a little bit lighter. It looks like it's going to be probably really popular lens because it's one of 4 lenses that they're introducing with this camera. And it also looks like it's not like their L series type glass in terms of size, and also it doesn't have the little iconic red ring around the front, so it's probably not going to be an L lens. And then, of course, they're going to have a 24-105 f4 stabilized lens. Now, this is a brand new lens. It's just like the old 24-105 lens that everybody knows and loves with the Canon, and I would imagine that this camera is going to come bundled with either the 24-105 f4 stabilized or that 28-70 f2. I'm going to place my bet on the 24-105 because it's about the same weight as the old one, so I imagine it'll probably be comparable in price, and also it's just a wider range of zooming for all those people out there. Now, in terms of video quality, they're going to be having internal 4K video recording like you should expect at this point. But one of the downsides to the 4K video recording, and one of the reasons I said this might not be like a pro level camera, is at least from what I saw on the spec sheet that they had leaked, was there was no C-log. So there's no log footage available on this camera, not in 4K, 1080, 720, none of it's gonna have C-log. So that's kind of a bummer because you're gonna be losing a little bit of dynamic range when you're trying to do some video recording. However, one interesting bit that I did see was that in 1080p, they're gonna have HDR video. So you might lose a little bit on the 4K, but it sounds like on the 1080 video, they're actually gonna have HDR footage, which is a huge deal because if that's true, and if it can do HDR internal recording, that means that it can also do 10-bit video recording. Now, I'm not sure if this 10-bit is gonna be available on the 4K or just the 1080, and I don't even know if the 10-bit is gonna be available outside of the HDR recording. So if you don't know, 10-bit is great because it's great for color grading and also allows you to actually have true HDR video, which is kind of the next big leap now that 4K is starting to become a standard. Now, one additional thing about the video recording is that in the 1080 mode, it's only going to be capped at 60 frames a second. So for all those people that love the 120 slow motion out there, it looks like it's not going to be available on the Canon EOS-R. And then the final little bit about this is it looks like it doesn't have any sort of in-body image stabilization. So with the new Nikon cameras and also what Sony's had for several years on their cameras, the in-body image stabilization where the sensor actually shifts around, it looks like Canon isn't going to have this available on this camera. I would expect that in the near future with all of their new mirrorless cameras that they come out with, that this will probably be a feature that they'll add. Now, the other camera that I wanted to talk about, there's not a lot of information about this, but it's the camera that I'm kind of excited about because I feel like Sony has been battling with this company for quite a while on the video front, is Panasonic. Now, Panasonic, there's a rumor that on September 25th, they're either going to be announcing or launching or making available for pre-order their brand new full-frame mirrorless camera. Now, the reason I'm really excited about this is Panasonic, if you don't know, the GH5 and the GH5S are huge competitors to Sony, and they have incredible video quality in terms of how great the 4K looks with their kind of compression and the video quality, and also they have internal 10-bit video recording. So I would imagine with this full-frame camera that they're putting out that it's also going to have internal 10-bit video recording. So I'm going to keep my eye out for the Sony a7sIII, which I'm really hoping will have that internal 10-bit video recording because that's something that I think a lot of Sony users have been wanting now. Now, the other cameras I did want to talk about are the Sony a7sIII. I was reading on Sony Alpha rumors that it sounds like Sony has had their a7sIII available for quite a while now, or at least ready for quite a while, but it sounds like they've been waiting for the competition to see what they're going to be coming out with, and it sounds like the competition is going to be doing very well, and I'm incredibly excited to see what happens over the next few months when all of these cameras are actually officially announced and ready for pre-orders and sales. Now, one interesting rumor that I did see was the new what they're calling Sony a7000. Now, this has been dubbed the Mini A9, so it's kind of a professional grade aps-c, which, so not full frame, but an aps-c camera that they're dubbing, like I said, the Mini A9. So I'd imagine on this camera, you're gonna have very fast reaction times with the sensor, so very little rolling shutter, and also really high frame rates coming out of the camera for professional photo and professional video use. But we'll have to see, because this one is kind of one of those rumors that's like nobody's really talking about that much, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I would be incredibly excited to hear about it. So like I said, all of these cameras should be announced in the next month or so. We have Photokina coming up pretty soon, and I would bet that a lot of these cameras are going to be announced officially at this event, if not very, very soon after. I'm incredibly excited about this because, you know, I am personally, I'll admit it, I'm a Sony fan, but I'm also a fan of Canon, Nikon, and Panasonic because whatever those camera companies do to push each other will make for a better camera. If Sony makes something, Canon will want to make it, Nikon will want to make it, and they'll all kind of push each other to make better cameras. So whether you're a fan of one camera brand or another, this will be good for you. So I hope that you're excited about it because I know I am. Now, one thing I did want to add to this, in my last video, I did mention that I want to be doing sort of like portfolio reviews. So if you can, email me your portfolio. Either it doesn't have to be an actual portfolio. It can be either an Instagram profile, Facebook page, website. However you have your photos displayed online, email it to KazCanningPhotography@gmail.com. I'll also link that email in the description and in either one of my next upcoming videos or even in a live stream, because I've been talking to my friend Chris about that a little bit. I may be doing a live stream of your portfolio. So once again, send those portfolios to me, KazCanningPhotography@gmail.com. I don't even know my own email. So I do want to thank you guys for watching this entire video. This is just something that over the last week has really been exciting me, and I've really been trying to keep up on it. So I wanted to kind of show that to you guys. So once again, thank you guys for watching the entire video, and I will see you on the next one.